Now, this is my favorite skin in the workshop for the fairytale collection so far. The problem is I don't know if it'll get added to the game. So as I'm sure you're all aware, Valve added in their call to armsry a call to submit workshop submissions for a new skin collection with the theme of fairy tales. Now, fairy tales can vary quite a bit in terms of what it actually entails, right? You have the 5/7 fairy tale, which I'm sure you've seen at one point or another, and it's very much the Americanized, sort of cartoonish, whimsical fairy tale. But a fairy tale could be a lot of different things, right? You have the one aforementioned, the 5/7 fairy tale type of style with castles, Disney, shit like that. You have sort of like an uncanny, weird art style, and I believe that originated in like medieval times, the Middle Ages in Europe with their weird, like, it's like religious art almost. It's a little bit creepy to look at, and oftentimes the fairy tales themselves were a little bit creepy as well. Not very happily ever after like the modern ones. And then you have a third one, which is like in between medieval times and the current day. And it's sort of like Little Red Robin Hood, or whatever the fuck her name is. Like in a forest, trees, magical trees that talk, people writing books that took a lot of psychedelics in their formative years. But all three have their space. I don't know if they'll go with all three for the vibe of the fairytale collection. If they want to play it safe, they'll probably just do the modern ones like the 5/7 that we just spoke about. But I figured we'd look at all of them because all three kind of vibes are hit with the new workshop submissions, and I think they're all pretty damn awesome. If you've got CS2 or Rust skins just collecting dust in your inventory, get a free skin worth up to $50 on me. Use code MW9 on SkinSwap when you complete your first trade with my code. The trade skin swaps your old skins for new ones at the best prices available. The market page gives you access to buy Chinese market skins, cheaper than Western prices with no need for a Chinese ID, passport, or bank account. Use the sell page to cash out to PayPal, Venmo, or crypto with no need for KYC and a lifetime 3% bonus when you use my code. With their newly launched Trade Vault system, as well as daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways, SkinSwap is the most rewarding site on the market. Thank you, SkinSwap, for sponsoring this video. Alrighty, first order of business. I believe this one's called Gnomes, or Smell the Flowers, whatever you want. This one has, I think, a pretty serious chance of getting put into the game. It seems like something Valve would add to their game. Fits the fairy tale vibe. I do like the little daisy right here for the CZ. But I do think the best one is probably this MP5 right here, to be completely honest. The CZ is pretty good too, and I don't think the CZ gets a lot of love because the gun fucking blows, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't get some cool skins for the people that do play with it. It's got some cool little minute details, like the little bird right here on the tip of the AK. This one's picking mushrooms, this one's holding a leaf, this one's holding a knife. Yeah, I think this one has some serious potential to be put into the game. Next up, Little Red Riding Hood. That's her name. Now, I think this one, in terms of how it looks, doesn't look particularly like a fairy tale type of vibe that I would go for if I was making this collection. But it does look good, right? It kind of looks like the USP Trader, the AK Empress, right? I think it matches a lot of guns. I think it would go well with a lot of guns, and thus you would probably have a decent amount of people purchasing this one. And right, I wouldn't be mad if they added this one to the game, right? It's got Goldilocks, I guess. Or is that the same one? I don't even know if that's the same fairy tale. Whatever. Got the actual artwork right here so you could see it perfectly without any glimmers or shadows. And looks great, right? Fit the Nouveau Rouge as well pretty awesomely. This is a solid skin. The Glock gets a lot of love, so I don't know if they need a Glock skin necessarily in this collection, but I wouldn't be opposed to it, right? A USP Trader, a Glock, starting pistol, these both, that would look really good. You would have a nice, pretty cohesive loadout. Next up, M4, Crimson Dawn. Now, I like this one particularly, right? It's got some good colors that you don't necessarily see on the M4 too much, right? If you look through the M4 skins, it's just purple, it's just pink, and it's just blue, or like a mix of the three. Enough with the mixed berry bullshit. Let's get some fucking cool red skins in here. Look at this one, right? It's got a cool chicken on it, or something chicken adjacent. I don't know, a fairy tale chicken. It's got wings. Wings are cool. The color shifts from blue to red. Again, kind of also fits that like USP Trader vibe on the front here. On the back, not so much, but the etchings look really good. I think this is almost like a Welcome to the Jungle type of skin. Also, it kind of matches the new AK that just came out in the Arabesque collection, which I think is pretty cool. We have a nice... I think this one's really cool. And I think this bird, the actual artwork is pretty dope as well. And it's not super loud or, you know, obnoxious when you're holding it in game. Next up, this is a P90 that I chose. As I was talking about before, right? You can't have all the skins be like absolute beautiful bangers, or else no one would redeem it after like 5 minutes, because you'd be happy with your light blues that you got. I think this one's like a nice light blue, or maybe even a blue, and I think it matches the new cologne stickers. In fact, I think it kind of looks 1-to-1. Let's check that out. Actually, not quite the same, but very, very similar. Actually, yeah, right there, the little 3 things. This is almost like a cologne sticker, which, if Valve is not like, if Valve created the stickers, like, they can't really worry about copyright. I think that this would be a great addition. It'd probably get a lot of sticker applications as well. But yeah, nothing more there really. It's just a very basic skin, but it does look good, does what it needs to do, and it's, it's good enough to be in this collection, but it's also not like amazing enough where if you got it, you would stop redeeming the collection. This next one is really awesome, the Sawed-Off Nightmare. This one looks like hand-etched. I know there's a couple of skins that look like this, but this one is like particularly very well done. Look at that. Look at all that detail on not only the barrel right here, but this body of the gun. That looks insane. Genuinely like one of the sickest skins I've seen in the workshop, and it has like no awards on it. Probably because it's a sawed-off, right? Like, honestly, if this was not on a sawed-off, if this was on like an AK or an AWP or something, which maybe he does have, like, this is probably a red. You can't argue with like how beautiful this skin is and how much work was put into this one. This one's absolutely sick. Next up, this is the AK-47 Candy Crunchy. Now, I know what you're about to say. This one doesn't look like particularly like a lot of work went into this one, and it probably didn't. It's just a pattern hydrographic, which means it's just literally a pattern-based skin just applied to the entire weapon. And that's because I think it just doesn't belong on the AK, right? If, like, this skin would be awesome if it was applied to, like, a 5.7 or something, because the 5.7 usually only gets the skin on, like, the top part of the slide. Take, like, the 5.7 Candy Apple, for instance, right? This is just the normal vanilla 5.7, and then this right here is all red on top. So, like, imagine a fade on this one, or a Doppler, or this Candy Crunchy. Like, this would be a perfect pattern-based skin for the 5.7, or like maybe the Glock or something. I just think it needs to be applied to that one as opposed to this AK here. When it's on the AK, it just looks crazy, right? It's just applied to the whole thing kind of carelessly. But I do think the actual pattern itself is pretty dope and can lend itself to some pretty cool skins if it's put on the right one. Next up, we got the P2000 Serenity Tail. Again, this is probably like a blue or like maybe a purple or something. It has a different colorway, which I think can be a little bit better. This would be a nice purple in the game. Listen, there's a problem. I'm probably going to make a video about this. The P2000 might be the most underappreciated class of skins in the entire game. It literally gets zero love by probably not the workshop. There's probably a ton of awesome workshop collections with the P2000 in it, but it just never gets added. And I think that it's time for that to change, right? You got more people using the P2000 now. Why not add a couple of skins that, make the P2000 look fucking good? Every skin that comes out for it is a gray, and it looks terrible. This one's perfect. It's not super loud, but if you wanted to get a little bit louder, you could use this one. And I think that this one's like a nice colorway that the P2000 doesn't really have. Big fan of this collection right here. And I think we'll be seeing a lot of this creator because he's got a lot of awesome collections here. Now, this is my favorite skin in the workshop for the fairytale collection so far. The problem is I don't know if it'll get added to the game. The reason I say this is because this is the medieval fairytale type of vibe I was talking about, right? As you can see, it's almost uncanny, right? It looks like a medieval drawing. Perfectly. Like, he has the video of him creating it right here. So, like, he really nailed the aesthetic he was going for. Like, it's super well done. All of them are well done. This entire collection. The 5.7 is really fucking cool. The Zeus is really cool. The Zeus has probably the best one to go. It has, like, a weird-looking fucking cat on it. This one is gorgeous. I love these type of skins. Yeah, they look a little weird, but that's the point. This one's really cool as well. Actually, this one I could probably see being in the game as well. This one looks like wall art on a Panera. Really, really adore this specific collection. The AUG right here. The AUG is a little funky. It's got some water on it, some weird looking fish. Honestly, this one might be a pretty good ad as well. Actually looks great in game. Look at that. I think they need to add one of these. I seriously hope they add one of these. At least one of any of the ones featured by this workshop creator, Ariata and Maloico. I think that's a slur in Italian. And the UMP is probably the weirdest one, probably the least likely to get added because it has just so many like weird things here. Like I don't think any of this is necessary. I think this is really cool. This rat with like cheese on its fucking head, or a crown. That's probably a little bit more likely. Yeah, I think he hit the nail on the head in terms of the aesthetic, capturing that medieval fairy tale vibe. I think this is the only one that's kind of like a miss just because there's so many different things on it. The MP7, the Zeus, and the USP are so sick, especially the colorway of this USP. Like there's no skin like this in the game. This would be absolutely perfect. Maybe for like a Canals collection too, to be honest. Definitely my favorite. Don't know if it'll get added, but definitely my favorite. Same vibe here along with the Romanesque skins we just looked at. This one has a very similar vibe going for it. In terms of the actual makeup of it, right? The actual style of the art. This one's a little bit different, as in it doesn't look like it's like here. It kind of looks not embroidered per se, but it does look like hand drawn on like an old canvas. This one is like stained glass, as you could tell by the gloss on the top and like the actual like normal mapping, pushing out some of the details like the stars and the mushrooms here in the back. But this one looks fantastic, right? On the AK too, I know the AK gets a lot of love in these collections, but you know, they got to do what they got to do, right, to draw people into the collection. I think this one's absolutely perfect. There's no skin that really has the same colorways such as this one. I think this would also look pretty good on an AWP, almost like an AK Solitude right here. It's not pattern based. It would be really cool if it was pattern based, but I don't think that's possible with the constraints the workshop creators have right now. But I mean, absolutely fucking beautiful, this one. In love with this one. Desert Eagle Mermaid Grace. This one's iridescent. This one's awesome. Mermaids are fairy tales, I guess. That makes sense, actually. It's got like a broad right here, like the Little Mermaid. Got some nice gold etchings, some seahorses hidden in there. Keys, like little minute details. Like you could tell there was a lot of love put into this one. Some gold accents, blue. I think the only light blue Deagle you have is that Midnight Storm one from the Rising Sun collection. This one would be like a high tier. This could be a red in the Fairy Tale collection for sure. It's got the iridescent effect. It's on a Deagle, so it's a popular gun. The Deagle hasn't gotten a red in a long time. The detail is pretty immaculate here. I don't even know if you necessarily need the mermaid on it, but I'm sure the mermaid will actually sell with you losers. Little treasure chest in the back over here. This one's awesome. It's like absolutely flush with details. This is really one of the most well done skins in the workshop as well. We're really getting into the prime of the Fairy Tale collection here. This one again is absolutely insane. This is the AWP Kukulkan. This is probably one of my favorites in the workshop as well, but I don't think it will get added. Just because of the simple fact that this one sort of lends itself towards like an ancient or like another Aztec themed collection, which I do think we'll get another one in the future. Right? I know it looks like Valve is moving away from the map collection, so I don't know if it'll be explicitly called, you know, Ancient 2026, 2027 collection, whatever it may be. But I do think that that's a vibe, right? Aztec is sort of like an aesthetic, so I think that they could probably make a really sick collection, and this would be absolutely perfect in it. Right, it's got like the serpent or whatever fucking creature that is from probably Mayan or Incan folklore, and then you got like an Incan warrior on the back here. Sick details. Probably this is like a D-lore contender, right? This is up there. This would definitely have to be a red. I mean, I think this color of like brick, it's like brick colored. The green scope. I'm sure this brick color could probably change to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the rest of the skin, but I don't think it hurts it too much. The green scope is absolutely dope. The detail on this one is crazy. It shines perfectly. This is an awesome skin. Not necessarily lending itself to like sticker crafts, but who cares? It's all about the skin, baby. Next up, change of pace here. This one's like a cartoon cardboard drawing of a fairy tale. This is not necessarily like a disservice to the Fairy Tale collection, right? I think the actual Glock itself looks really good. The cardboard, like he did a good job here making it look like the actual innards or like it was actually folded up using cardboard. So I think he did a great job there. The drawing itself is meant to look like a child drew it, so you know, no fault to the author there. I do think I could use a little bit more details maybe, or something. I do think it's missing something that they'll have to add into it. And the actual bullet here is designed super cool. It's got scales on it, looks like a dragon. Got some scotch tape, really good. I mean, like, look at this piece of tape he drew. Like, this is a great piece of art. Next up, I've seen this one before. This was also in the Arabesque collection, I believe. This is the Doodle Lore. Now, another skin that I think looks awesome and would probably be a sick addition to the game. I don't know if they'll add another Doodle Lore, as you know. I'm sure we've had a Doodle Lore in the game before, it got removed. This is a pretty reputable author, though. I always see this person's name peated, so I don't think he copied it from anyone. And he has a bunch of different colorways and designs. I do think this one or this one probably looks the best. And look how it wears. How awesome is this? Right, you got the Doodle Lore, you got like a global elite symbol, some like clutch, like a little bit like almost sticker like things here. And then when it battle scars, it loses everything, and then you just have it plain. This is a great skin. If this was like 0 to 1, you would have a real demand for these, and you would have a real demand for these. This is a super awesome high float. Motherfucker, shut up. This is a really awesome skin from top to bottom. Next up, another op that's sick as fuck, right? I don't know if they would add this one and that Deagle we were just talking about earlier. This one's the op Mermaid's Pearl. Now, another super well done skin, right? With the other like Mayan Incan op that we just saw. This one, of course, is a mermaid on it. It's got a mermaid with like a spear, would like match the M4 Poseidon, and I think the scope is sick. Look, it's got like gold on either side of the scope with the wave patterns. It's got fish scales here. The colors are perfect here. I think the colors on the Incan one were a little bit weird or off. Even if they match aesthetically, they don't necessarily like lend itself towards it looking super great in game. I think these colors work perfectly. Tridents everywhere, etchings. Like, this is a super well done skin. Oh, this would be, oh my god, I would cop this in a heartbeat. This is probably my new favorite op in the game. Huge fan of this one. Next up, Cartoon Serpent. This is like a fire serpent-esque skin, right? Mimics the like nature of the fire serpent, but it's done in like a sort of like a 1930s type of cartoon shit. Like, you know that video game is called like Jarhead or some shit? It looks like that game. Right, I think it looks good. I think this would be a perfect addition if it was like the Achroma collection too. Big fan of this one, and it doesn't necessarily like lend itself towards a high tier AK. It could be like a pink or maybe even a purple almost. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I think this is a perfect like minimalist AK. It's not too loud and flashy like some of the other AKs we've been getting in the past with like all that gold and stuff. I think this one has its like niche, and it wears really cool as well. This would be cool with the creme pinstripe gloves. Next up, M4 Kingslayer. This one's cool, right? Cards, like a pack of normal cards. I mean, I think that sort of fairy tale adjacent, right? The artwork on a normal pair of cards kind of reminds you of like that other USP we were looking at earlier. Like, it's a little bit uncanny, a little bit weird. You could tell it's older, the actual art style of the cards. And I think this gets like the actual card image itself onto the skin pretty damn perfectly. I know it's not possible, I think, with the constraints of the actual skin system, but how awesome would it be if you got a king of hearts, a king of diamonds, a king of spades or clubs, dependent on like which one you pulled, right? Pattern based. That would be so sick. But I don't think that's actually possible without him changing the entire makeup of the skin. The red grip looks great. I don't think there's like a super nice red M4. This is like the red version of the Emperor almost. I really like this one. Next up, 5-7 Don't Sleep. Right, this is a great fairy tale aesthetic hit right on the head, right? It's like sheeps jumping over a fence. That's what you do when you go to sleep. Fairy tales, you read that shit when you go to sleep. You get it. It's like some chickens on it. This one's awesome. This one looks fantastic, man. It's got wolves on the top. This sheep's turning into a wolf. That one's almost like half a wolf. It looks great. The colorway is great too. Like, it's on like a nice, beautiful, like blue, cream, yellow color. What's going on the back here? A wolf's head? That one's so dope. This one's super sick. This one really should be in the game. 5.7 needs a nice skin. 5.7 is really good right now. You would have a lot of demand for this skin, I think. This one's so dope. Next up, AK Reincarnation. This one's a little bit like loud and like a little bit weird almost, but I think it looks fantastic in first person more than anything else. It's kind of like Wild Lotus adjacent, but like purple. Nice gradient from like purple to white on the bottom, right? You don't have any like pure white AKs or really any pure white many skins in the game other than the whiteouts, of course. And I think in first person it just looks so sick, right? I think it would probably look a little bit better if it was like 3Dified, but I don't even think you need that. This back part looks awesome. I think like this is probably like the most important part on an AK when you're holding it in first person, and I think he did a good job there. It's got like a fairy tale vibe, right? Plants, little like whimsical creatures, fucking twigs and shit. You know, fairy tales. I think this one's so dope as well. Probably my favorite AK that I've seen in the actual workshop so far. Next up, the AWP Berserk. This one's a little bit different from the other ones, right? The other ones are more like classy, like covert AWPs. This one's almost like a pink in my head, like the AWP Krakow from the Overpass collection. And I think this one goes really well with the USPS Jawbreaker, right? That new one from the Kilowatt case. Almost looks like the Jawbreaker, but like a dragon instead of a dog, but still like the same vibe, same colorway. This would go really good with the ultra-violent gloves, so I think that gives it like some brownie points there. This is almost like a chrome purple, yellow accents, not like gold particularly. Red scope, which I think is super dope. I love the colored scopes on the new AWPs. This one is fucking dope. I think it looks a little awkward right here. I think maybe this needs to like lighten up a little bit and be like a little bit more cartoonish if I think they want to like get in and beat those other ups, but like really awesome job here nonetheless. Another cool, almost older looking skin, the Mountain Guardian. This one reminds me of like an older fairy tale because it's got like a stained glass effect on it, right? Like on the silencer here and pretty, you know, everywhere. This would match super well with the M4 Solitude, and it's got a little bit of extra color, not pattern based. I think this one's fucking awesome as well. Again, this one is more like I could see this one being in like a Canals collection or something, and I do think the P2000 needs some love in this next collection, not the USP, but like I wouldn't be mad if this one got added to the game. This one's absolutely awesome, and it shines when you're in different lightings, right? That's a really cool effect of the new skins in CS2. And despite it having like a really cool, you know, artwork on it, it doesn't look particularly loud in game. Right, it's just a blue and kind of colorful one. This one would match like the nice, the sunburst gloves. Last one here, the Glock Lovely Day. This one doesn't necessarily look like fairy tale, but you know, it's got hearts on it. It's pink. I think this one would do like fucking numbers if it was added to the game anyway. A nice pink Glock, right? The ladies need some love, right? The ladies who play Counter-Strike need some love, right? They play this game knowing that there are fucking dorks you're gonna kick them for playing, so I think we reward them with a nice pink etched Glock. I don't think it looks bad, right? I think this could definitely fit the fairy tale vibe, especially if they go for the modern Americanized sort of fairy tale thing as well. And it looks good in Battle Scar too, because the etchings stay on the actual skin and they don't disappear. Let me see if I can find that other one. All right, those are my workshop picks. I think my favorites are definitely this whole entire collection, right? The Romanesque collection. As I said, I just like this vibe. Like, it's a little bit weird, but like I think they're really fucking cool skins and they're really well done. I do like this AK as well for kind of the same reasons. It has that vibe, just none of the creatures on it. So I think that this one's like honestly a pretty good choice to get put into the game. Probably as like a pink though, not necessarily a red. Third, probably this Deagle, right? This nautical Deagle with the mermaid on it, and then, you know, in the same boat, this AWP mermaid one, which is pretty sick. Like this one's so dope. The scope is perfect. I do think this one looks better. I do think this AWP in general looks better as an entire like cohesive unit. This one's absolutely sick, but I don't think this one would be added for fairy tales. I think this one would be like for an Aztec collection, but nonetheless, this one's insane. Love this skin right here. And that'll do it for my workshop review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you got any cool workshop submissions that you've seen. I'd like to see them. I kind of looked through most of them, but I do think these are the best ones, and I do think we got some great submissions already. I'm sure we'll get some even better ones in the future. Maybe if there's enough of them, I can do it again. Anyways, peace.